I want to begin with just a few words of introduction. My name is Lawrence Gold. I'm the developer of the Gold Key Release and the other TetraSeed Transformation Procedures. I have been using them for a number of years now. In my history, I've studied and practiced many developmental and esoteric disciplines, including Tibetan Buddhism, and various forms of yogic meditation, coursework and training from the Human Potential Movement, and other measures, including biofeedback and brainwave training. And I noticed, even after many years, even decades of practice of the other disciplines, that I still had states of imbalance and kind of unevenness of development in myself. And what happened late in my practice and exploration of these other disciplines was I discovered that attention and intention are complementary counterparts. Seems obvious when you say it. And that on another occasion later on, memory and imagination. At that point, I didn't know that there were four intelligences or operations of consciousness that were interrelated. I had just identified these two pairs. And then it happened spontaneously one day when it occurred to me that it's actually a set of four. And that set of four constitutes our entire life experience. Those four being attention, intention, memory, and imagination. And it was at that point I began to experiment with awakening and integrating those four. The first procedure that I discovered and developed is the Gold Key Release. And though it's an entry-level procedure, it is very potent in its own right, very fast-acting. And I worked with that for some time until encounters with individuals delivering other teachings prompted me to look at things in a new way. The next procedure I developed is called the Middle Way Memory Matrix Ritual, which is something I will teach later down the line when you have essentially mastered the Gold Key Release, and another procedure that I'll start everybody on in this call called the Crystal Crown Procedure. My point, though, is that there are these four faculties, and I saw that in myself they were unevenly developed and not well integrated. And despite my previous disciplines and practices, I had significant imbalances in myself that didn't really start to come into order until I started working with the four of the TetraSeed. As I started to do that, my faculties started to come online and my temperament began to mellow down. People who've known me for years have spoken of a great change I've undergone in these recent years when I've been practicing with these procedures, including my mother. So, in developing these procedures, I did so with myself as the laboratory. And I wrote a piece which speaks of where I came from developmentally and what I've gone through until pretty much this time. It's called The Prophet of Pain, Prophet. It's online, it's searchable. If you put the title in quotes, a Google search will bring up the page that contains that write-up, The Prophet of Pain. And that'll give you some perspective on where I've come from and how these procedures have affected me, I being the first guinea pig. I think that's all I'll talk about myself right now, and just say for the sake of this call, what we'll be doing is a series of Gold Key releases, one with a topic I'll provide and one with a topic for yourself that you provide without having to say anything aloud. And then toward the end, I'll take everybody through the first leg of what I call the Crystal Crown Procedure, which is the basic awakening and integration procedure of those 4 faculties or intelligences of the TetraSeed. The allowing for comments, questions, and answers throughout this call and also at the very end. And then at the end of the call, we'll talk about our next occasion getting together like this. So without further ado, let's get to the gold key release. Now, to begin, I suggest the first run through of the gold key release be with an item that I've selected for its potency, and the item is refusing or refusal. And when you hear those words, you get a certain feeling, a certain feel, and it's that feel that we will be putting through the gold key release. After we finish with that, then you'll be choosing an item of your own from your own life, generally something that's bothering you. And this will be an opportunity to dissolve the binding effects of that troubled state. And what that means is a progressive lightening up and a making transparent to you of that issue. And what I mean by transparent is that it doesn't have a grip on your attention the way it did. So when something is transparent, you don't see the thing itself, you see what's beyond it. So we will be starting with refusing as the item, and it will go something like this, just to give you the example. The steps of the gold key release start with feel having it. So in this case, you'll feel having refusal or refusing. It's the feeling. Then notice where you feel it in you. Feel the shape of its intensity. Feel refusing it. Intend refusing it. Intend it. You intend that feeling. Refuse intending it. Feel how much it all matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Think to yourself, it's true, it's true. It's untrue, it's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's untrue, it's untrue. It's true, it's true. Remember the feeling of, it's true, it's true. Remember the feeling of, it's untrue, it's untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Awaken. So that's the rehearsal run-through of the steps. At the end of that, I will then ask, is it more, less, the same, or gone? If it's gone, you're done. Any of the others, if there's something left, you take what's left and we run it through the procedure again. So that's the rehearsal for the gold key release, and then we will now get into doing it. Between runs through, I'm going to give you tips and comments to make your experience of the process more effective, to reduce effort and to get a better result. So let's continue. Now, as we get into it, I'd like to start with some preparatory comments. As we go through the steps, I'm going to be stating them to you, and there's going to be a certain pacing and a certain rhythm to the way I deliver the steps to you. You repeat the steps to yourself, either in your mind or aloud, at the same pace and rhythm that I've demonstrated to you. The reason being that this pacing And this rhythm produces a better outcome. It's as simple as that. It enables your attention to land on and to sink into what you're doing better, which is the essence of why this kind of procedure works. It's your feeling experience of it. The words are just to trigger an experience. In the beginning, that may seem a bit vague to you. That's all right. That's because you're not used to doing this. And with a bit of repetition, you'll start to feel the steps come alive in you as experience. So now let's start. Remember that the item is refusing. You don't have to say the word refusing, just have to feel having the feeling of it. Do that now. Feel having it. Just take what you get. Don't filter for correctness or for adequacy. Just take whatever surfaces. Fine. Notice where you feel it in you. Feel the shape of its intensity. Refuse it. Intend refusing it. Intend it. Refuse intending it. Feel how much it all matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Think to yourself, it's true. It's true. Think to yourself, it's untrue. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's untrue. It's untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Awaken. Okay, that completes the first stroke through the gold key release. Is it more, less, the same, or gone? So signal if it's gone. Okay. So I'm going to pause here and talk about the pacing. Here's what I've noticed. That prolonged, laborious effort to get something out of each of those steps isn't very fruitful. It's the repetitions through that enable things to become more vivid and surface. So take whatever it is you get, even if it's apparently nothing, as the result of each step, and then go on to the next step. The subsequent repetitions, you'll see, sharpen things up, not the spending lots of time on a step. In fact, if you spend lots of time on a step, what may happen is frustration, and that frustration will be carried forward into the next cycle. That's just fine. It's there. And then you'll dissolve the frustration. However, if you just take whatever it is you get without filtering for correctness or adequacy, you'll get what you need from the procedure. So I'm allowing enough time for you to follow the steps. If I say it's true, it's true, it doesn't take 30 seconds to say it's true to yourself or to think it. It only takes the brief seconds. Take whatever it is you get, and we'll run through the process, and then we'll run through the cycles as we need to. So from that last one, everyone had something left. Either it was more, less, or the same. That's fine. Doesn't matter what it was. So again, on refusing, feel what that feels like. Feel having it. Just take the steps and go through. Notice where you feel refusing in you. Feel the shape of its intensity. Refuse it. Intend refusing it. Intend it. Refuse intending it. Feel how much it all matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Think to yourself, it's true, it's true. Think to yourself, it's untrue, it's untrue. It's untrue in that rhythm and speed. It's true. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of it's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of it's untrue. It's untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Awaken. Okay, we check in. Is it more? Make a signal. Is it less? Make a signal. Is it the same? Okay, it's less. Okay. Anybody else? Is it the same? Or gone? Okay, so Take whatever's left. If it's gone, you're done. Take whatever's left and feel having that. Notice where you feel it in you. Feel the shape of its intensity. Refuse it. Intend refusing it. Intend it. Refuse intending it. Feel how much it all matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Think to yourself, it's true, it's true. Think to yourself, it's untrue, it's untrue, it's untrue. It's true. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's untrue. It's untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Awaken. Okay, signals. Is it more, less? There. Looks like we have one who is more. Is it more? No. Okay. Less? Okay. The same or gone? Okay. Here's another little tip. In the step, remember the feeling of, it's true, it's true. Remember the feeling not of, it's true, but of, it's true, it's true. Okay, there are two there. Okay, same thing with it's untrue. All right. So take what's left and feel having it. Notice where you feel it in you. Feel the shape of its intensity. Refuse it. Intend refusing it. Intend it. Refuse intending it. Feel how much it all matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Think to yourself, it's true, it's true. Think to yourself, it's untrue, it's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's untrue. It's untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Awaken. Is it more? Less? The same? Or gone? Okay. Yeah, that took 3 cycles through. That's pretty good. Sometimes things disappear in 2 or 1, and sometimes it takes a good deal more if it's a really crusty, entrenched condition. 3 is the most common that I've seen. So, anything to ask or tell? Okay. Lance.
Definitely notice on the third one, almost every time, I'm just like, what is true? What's untrue? It definitely becomes harder, like a searching for file kind of a feeling.
Yeah.
Always on the third one so far.
Well, there you go. That's exactly
and
it.
The tip you gave on letting it set in or not letting it set in and just kind of letting what comes definitely helped too.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Okay. So here's the opportunity to choose your own vegetable. Whichever item has you. And the rule of thumb is if it bugs you in your life, it's a good one. For learning purposes, I suggest moderate difficulty, because if you choose something really crusty in your life, something that is deeply entrenched, you may require a whole bunch of cycles through, which is not ideal for a learning situation like this. The other side, if it's too flimsy, it doesn't have enough density to make it a good target for your attention. So moderate. So signal when you're ready, and then we'll launch. All right, very good. So feel having it. Notice where you feel it in you. Feel the shape of its intensity. Refuse it. Intend refusing it. Intend it. Refuse intending it. Feel how much it all matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Think to yourself, it's true. It's true. Think to yourself, it's untrue. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's untrue. It's untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Awaken. Is it more? Is it less? Okay. Is it the same or gone? If it's gone, you're done. Otherwise, take whatever's left. Feel having it. Notice where you feel it in you. Feel the shape of its intensity. Refuse it. Intend refusing it. Intend it. Refuse intending it. Feel how much it all matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Think to yourself, it's true, it's true. Think to yourself, it's untrue, it's untrue, it's untrue. It's true. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's untrue. It's untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Awaken. Is it more? Less? The same? Or gone? Okay. So, if it isn't gone, take whatever's left. Feel having it. Notice where you feel it in you. Feel the shape of its intensity. Refuse it. Intend refusing it. Intend it. Refuse intending it. Feel how much it all matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Think to yourself, it's true. It's true. Think to yourself, it's untrue. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's true. It's true. Remember the feeling of, it's untrue. It's untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Awaken. Okay. Is it more, less, the same, or gone? Okay. Who has some left? Okay, apparently no one. That's fine. Okay, let's check in. Anything to ask or tell? Okay. So I said this would be a 50-minute session, and we're 49 minutes into it. We have the option of quitting here and having our first exposure to the crystal crown procedure be the next time, or I can take you through the first leg of the crystal crown procedure. Let's have a show of hands. Quit now. Okay, we have one quit now. And continue and do the first leg.
I'm on board for the first leg.
What is it? You want to do the first leg? Okay, that's fine. All right. So the crystal crown procedure, as I said earlier, is a way of awakening and integrating your own faculties of intelligence. Those faculties being for, check your mic when you finish talking, because otherwise I need to mute you. Okay. So it's an awakening of the four faculties and an integration of the four faculties. The first leg of the crystal crown procedure is an awakening. It isn't even integration yet, just awakening. And it goes like this. There's a rhythm to it. So I'll demonstrate it first, and then we'll do it together. It's as simple as this. We're starting with intending. It goes like this. Intending, 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 intending. So it's two ones, intending, intending, followed by a two, intending, intending. In the very beginning, I expect that it may be a bit vague to you, one or more of those. That's all right, because with subsequent repetitions, it comes alive, and we'll do 3 cycles through. So each of the 4 has that rhythm. We'll be doing imagining, 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 and so forth. So before we start into it, is there anything anyone wants to ask or tell? Nothing. That's fine. Okay, so we'll run it through. We're going to do 3 cycles through, and you'll notice what happens each time. So I'm going to state the action, and then you do it. You think it to yourself in the same rhythm as I've demonstrated it. And we begin. Intending, 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 intending. Imagining, 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 imagining. Remembering, 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 remembering. Attending, attending, attending to attending. Remembering, remembering. I spaced myself out there. We start again with intending. Intending, 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 intending. Imagining, 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 imagining. remembering, 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 remembering. Attending, attending, attending to attending. Intending, 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 intending. Imagining, 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 imagining. Remembering, 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 remembering. Attending, attending, attending to attending. Okay, that completes 3 cycles. Let's check in. Anything to ask or tell? So feel free to unmute your microphone. Cursor to the top center, it'll drop down a little icon bar, and you would click then on the microphone or unmute within your system. Okay. So it seems we have neither ask nor tell here. So that completes this section of this session. The next section has to do with our next to get together, which I propose same time next Sunday. And during the ensuing time, you might read the piece I alluded to earlier called The Prophet, Prophet of Pain. Again, in quotes to do a Google search to bring it up. And that's just a perspective piece. And then the next session, we'll do more of the gold key release and more of the crystal crown procedure, the second leg of it. Now, if you got what I intended from this one leg of the crystal crown procedure, you would have felt things sharpen up or become more vivid on each of those 4 faculties of intelligence. You'd feel that your intending became feelingly more intentional. Your imagining would have felt that you were able to imagine imagining more. You would have recognized that you were remembering in order to remember remembering. And that your attention to attending became more apparent to you. It's just a surfacing. Before we quit for today, is there anything anyone wants to ask or tell? Comments, questions, observations?
This is amazing stuff. It really is. Looking forward to doing it more, and getting the last leg of the crystal crown. It's really just works. I don't know what else to say about it. It's obvious. So, looking forward to doing more work with it.
Okay,
thank you for your time.
Thank you. Remember to mute your mic.
Yes.
And anybody else? Don't be bashful now. Okay, Mary. And check your mic. There we go. Now we're hearing some rattling. All right. What you did made it. There we go. Try that now. No, sounds like we have something now.
And I was working on my own issue. I'm going to show, it was about the feeling of being ignored, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And my phone was ringing off the hook from people that hadn't. So while I was doing the session,
Come
my
closer
phone
to
was
your
ringing.
mic. Your mic is cutting out because you're too far from it.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. When
So
I
we
was
heard
working
the
on
part
my
about-
own issue,
Mm-hmm.
ignored. Well, as I was doing the process, the phone was ringing with these random calls, one from my neighbor, one from a family member. It was as if it was instantaneously shifting
Mm-hmm.
as I was doing the process. That was the part that was making me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's that fast.
Yeah. Funny about that.
Isn't it? Okay, that's
Thank
it
you.
for now.
Is there more?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Check your mic. Anybody else? Looks like Adrian is speaking and he's taken a course in mime. Check your mic again because we're not hearing you. Yeah, there's something about technology. We're not getting a signal from you, Adrian. Okay. All right. Well, before the next session, might be good to check your own systems to make sure things like mics are working and such. Troubleshoot that ahead of time as best you can. And unless somebody has something more, that will conclude this broadcast. Okay.